a quite controversy topic to talk about, and it was a lot in the news. If you watch some famous YouTubers, you probably have seen everything and more about the Galaxy Fold. And why do we talk about this today? First of all, I actually thought I mentioned it already a little bit, but then we somehow got over this. But there is some new development in that Samsung does not want you to see here this teardown, which I find is not very nice of them, and such kind of things is also what we want to call out here. And so what happened? I fixed it, teared down the Samsung Galaxy Fold as I usually do with all the devices, and in my opinion a fair thing to do, and also for consumers to know what they get into, especially for a $2,000 or euro device. And I find this very informative, these teardowns, and a lot to learn from, and make also a well-educated buying decision, especially for such luxury items. So what happened today? Why do I make this live stream? I fixed it, had to, or voluntarily took down this teardown, and this is what I wanted to speak about shortly. And this is only the ugly face of big corporations like Samsung or Apple or Google and Microsoft for that matter. And I want to just call this out and not endorse this. This is really not a nice thing of companies to do. People putting so much effort into analyzing stuff, educating this, no matter if it's good or bad. And you have seen on famous YouTubers like Unbox Therapy, Lou, I think is his name, that he liked this Fold in general very much. Of course, a little bit expensive, but whatever. And with all the good and bad PR, in my opinion, it is not a reasonable thing to like pressure them in kind of lawsuit kind of way here to take things down. And so what happened after 2 days of intense public interest, I fixed it, had removed their teardown of Samsung Galaxy Fold. The analysis supported our suspicion that the device provided insufficient protection from debris damaging the screen. And our team appreciates the chance to look into this ambitious device. All new products face challenges, this one perhaps more than most. We're grateful to have shared the glimpse of how Samsung engineers address some of those challenges, and we look forward to sharing more as, wait a second, others. And we are important also here. We were provided our Galaxy Fold unit by a trusted partner. Samsung has requested through that partner that iFixit removes its teardown. We are under no obligation to remove our analysis, legal or otherwise, but our respect for this partner, whom we consider an ally in making devices more repairable, we are choosing to withdraw our story until we can purchase a Galaxy Fold at retail. Well, so a little bit fair enough when Samsung, so I don't know what partner this was, if it was a retail partner, like even like a telephone ISP there, like AT&T or whatever, it might exist there in the States, or if this is just some independent, but I would probably expect that not this be an independent YouTuber like Unbox Therapy or whatever. I think the big YouTubers would probably not have their device disassembled, but so whoever this might be, whatever, but fair enough, they have disassembled someone's device. Although I would expect this not to be some YouTuber, and if this is some kind of resale partner like a telephone company, then in my opinion this would have been also fair game, but whatever. And here's also some analysis. Here's why they think iFixit thinks this fails. First off, OLED screens are really fragile. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. We have disassembled this totally tiny OLED displays in our Sony mini disc recorder here a year ago. You can also watch this. This was, by the way, the Sony mini disc player. By the way, I could have actually taken, I even have it in the office anyway. Doesn't make so much sense to just bring it over here just for the video anyway. Probably next time better preparation here. But this was one of the most difficult repairs. The Sony MZ RH1 repair, this OLED display swap, I was actually surprised that it worked, and I wrote it in the comments. I do not encourage this repair. This is really for expert repair, do-it-yourself people, in my opinion. It was at the border of what I would feel comfortable to do. When I was tearing so first I had to tear down the Sony MP3 player, the NWG or something, 205F or something, and I nearly did not get this display out. So I purchased this MP3 player only for the swap, and I regretted. So I got it for cheap in France. It was a real coincidence. It was amazing. For, I don't remember, something like 10 bucks maybe. But this would also be the highest I would spend on this repair. And I nearly did not get it out. I regretted disassembling this MP3 player, already regretted even trying this. And then I should maybe have stopped, but probably I thought, okay, this was already such an effort to get this display out. Let's at least try it. And disassembling the Sony MZ-RH1 mini disc recorder, I regretted it immediately. And only, so I said it also in comments, other people asked me where they can get the parts and so on. I told each and everyone I would suggest not to try it. It was super difficult, probably on a scale of 2 of 10 or something. And I only suggest if you are really a well-trained, do-it-yourself, experienced repair person. Anyway, so yeah, OLED screens are really fragile, no shit, Sherlock. And yeah, plus particles equals death. Yeah, I can imagine that something comes in here and then the display crumbles there, like seen on this picture. No surprise here. And I would probably also not buy a $2,000 phone. I said this in the weekly news. I'm quite, well, for one thing, it is not as expensive as you would think. I said this, if you buy an Apple iPad and an iPhone, you pay maybe slightly more, especially if you go for a iPhone X, not the smallest model, plus an not entry-level iPad, then you pay more. Maybe this, if it would not be as fragile, maybe it would be a good replacement for an iPhone and an iPad. You only have one device and you have it always with you and you can fold it smaller than a tablet. But for the price, for 1,000 euro, I think this would be awesome. 1,000 euro or dollar. It's quite similar anyway, exchange rate wise. But for 2,000, you get a really fancy ThinkPad. And then I would probably rather take a really productive ThinkPad where you can do everything, all your computing needs over this device. And also for $2,000, it's probably too fragile. I would probably not spend my hard-earned 2,000 euro on this. 1,000 euro maybe, and then this maybe is because it is of course more fragile. Even without this particle sand spots getting in there, I would probably think twice to get it even for $1,000 because I don't want to throw and burn 1,000 euro away. So yeah, what else? Pre-installed the review, what was this? Remove and states blah blah blah, not because no, whatever. And yeah, also robot folding, like others said, like maybe also from Dave from the EEV blog, he probably also said, I think I remember seeing a video, yes, robot folding does not equal human folding. This is the same with testing keyboards, pressing 1 million times or so linearly here with the same angle is not the same as with a human always having it at a slightly different angle and stuff like this, and putting pressure on the sides and with some friction and tearing and stuff. So yeah, and let's take a look at the teardown that Samsung does not want you to see, because thanks to the Internet Archive it's still online, no surprise there. And this is also Samsung, well done, you managed 10 stars in the Streisand effect. You have something censored and then more people talking about than before. I would not have made this video if you would not have pressured iFixit to tear down. Well done. And I expect hundreds of news sites, if not YouTuber, to speak now even more about this. And in my opinion, be nice to other people. Don't sue them. Don't carry this here on with some gratitude. And in my opinion, there is nothing wrong with this ambitious device. If Apple did not even had the Innovate My S movement to bring such a device to market, and so kudos for Samsung actually, if they would not have taken these steps here to take this teardown, I would have even good feelings here. Samsung made a totally ambitious device, some innovation that even Apple can't there as anymore, and many people were really surprised and impressed, like Lou, and liked it in general, except maybe the price. And yes, it was failing, but so is even Apple's AirPower and Tesla's Tesla. And do some revision, make there some better display protection or something. And also for people who really want something, sell it for $2,000 to millionaires who want the latest flagship device with a huge warning label not to get dust and sand in there, whatever. Anyway, so yeah, carry it on with some gratitude and attitude and not this threatening each other. This is really Apple and Microsoft territory of suing each other, although maybe Samsung also participated in the suing each other game there. But yeah, I hope they don't sue also the Internet Archive here to take this down. As long as it is online, you find it here. And let's quickly go over and take a look if we can find out what Samsung does not want you to see here. Hello, what happened now with our... hello, did Firefox crash or... Anyway, of course this teardown is not a repair guide and don't do it yourself, open your stuff. So recently we are pretty excited to get inside the new foldy phone, 7.3 dynamic AM OLED is of course, we are here in educational channel, so AM is of course a morph or something. OLED is organic LED, organic meaning that, oops, wrong focus, organic meaning that this is not from artificial stuff like plastic something yeah, organic is it's organic, like organic material. This was, let's quickly Google this that I don't educate here something. AMOLED and wiki, so this stands for active matrix. Okay, I thought this was more something. Okay, so much to standing corrected here. Active matrix, organic light emitting diodes, and active matrix, whatever that is, probably research, probably meaning that the drive matrix is somewhere directly with the display or something of that sort. 362 ppi, of course relatively high, 2152 by 1536 pixels, and another additionally small 4.5 active matrix OLED display in the cover. Qualcomm Snapdragon 12 gigs, it's of course plenty of memory here, 12 gigs of RAM. Not even Apple machines probably maybe still don't have this entry-level model. In case of not research this from the back of my memory, would expect that Apple is as cent counting and bean counting as they are. Would be surprised if entry-level Macs start with more than 8 gigs, maybe even 4. Total of 6 cameras, which is of course a really whopping amount of cameras in this devices like this, and Type-C, thumbs up for Type-C, capacitive fingerprint sensor, Bixby button combo. Yes, this is probably like in the S10e that I have here. So much to also not getting paid. This is here, we are not sellouts here. We either get free samples without any strings attached or buy this ourselves here. And yeah, blah blah blah, folded configuration. So unfolded looks like this. By the way, you see here some, what do they fold here? Some fold here. You see this, of course, many reviewers talked about this. It would probably bother me a little bit, especially on a 2,000 euro or dollar device. But Lou said he, after some hours, he didn't see it that much anymore. The Lou from Unbox Therapy there. And it's not quite iPad mini 5 big, but the bezels are so tiny, so it tends to be, in terms of usable screen real estate. And this is what I mean. I would probably, so it would be amazing for like what I said in the weekly news the other week as a portable SSH terminal, but then again, probably most people use it to play games and not for professional work like the audience here in our channel, like SSH and VNC, remote desktop thing. There are, what was it, RDP, remote desktop protocol or something of this professional thoughts, unlike the dual slabs of glass, hybrid potential entry points, blah blah blah. Good point. Yeah, they already poked their guitar plug at this fold, and mind you, also maybe some of these folds were damaged by removing the screen protector. You have probably seen this already, that some people desperately had to peel this off, and I commented already, when I get something, even our cheap printer here, which we have also too many in our company, because with our scanner business we have quite some prototypes and sample devices, so it's not even we need to buy a printer here or MFP or something, but the ones we have here from project and such, even there I did not peel off the display sticker, because why should I? Then it, even after 5 years, looks still new. By the way, fun fact, the free screen protector here on the S10e is already having the first scratches, and I use this like so. The iPhone display is mostly unscratched here after I had a. I usually don't rock screen protectors, especially as I like protector caseless phones. The glass is mostly unscratched, and I only had the tempered glass here for 3 months, and it was a really shitty experience. This Samsung S10e came, by the way, it usually, this fingerprint reader is so fast. Usually I never use this, I'm not a fan of this, but as I set this up for the YouTube review testing here, it always locks so fast. You see, it basically, I touch it. The problem is actually it unlocks so fast and so often. I usually have it in my jeans trouser pocket, and just grabbing it already usually unlocks this so fast and seamless. This is if you are interested in that sort of data point. The free screen protector here it came with has already a couple of scratches, not only one air bubble bump here that the camera probably might or might not really focus that much here, and otherwise it starts to get the first scratches, but this is of course not the Gorilla Glass or what this is. Let's just take a some parcel. 1 second, back in a moment. Let's see if it's a parcel for us or not. Don't really expect anything more today. And going further down here, did I mention folding phones are cool in theory, somewhat bulgy in your pocket? Yeah, no surprise there. But I would probably not mind this. I would actually probably prefer to be able to fold it and then have a smaller device, because certainly an iPad mini I can't get into my jeans. It's not like we are this kind of Sony Vario P pockets here. I'm prying it open. How long is it even? They pried it open there, so they even lightly glued back cover, so you open it from the back cover. Real plenty standard looking Galaxy phone parts. And what else do they peel off here? Attached. There's a phone attached to this phone. 1 battery, 2 batteries. Nicely glued in there. Way too much glue as usual. Also at Apple. Battery wise here some respectively 2135 milliamp hours and 2245 milliamp hours. And DSLR, you probably could have spent $2,000 on a pretty nice DSLR mirrorless camera. Yes, this is also my point. I really hate this Apple shot on iPhone advertisements, because in my opinion, the first videos here on this channel I made with an iPhone, and the video quality was really not good, and I rather have here some mirrorless, even only 600 something kit camera here, Lumix G70 or what this was. Not a bad advertisement though. And in my opinion, this is really silly to record whole movies. You can do this just for the test of it, but people, even for the 4K camera here, people complain sometimes if it's not focused, if we are not zoomed in. Of course, we are a cheapskate one-man production here and not a fancy film studio, but in my opinion, total waste of time and ambition to do this on an iPhone, but whatever. And I find this really silly advertisement from Apple there. And yeah, cameras, more cameras, and even more cameras. Left side board here with connectors. And meanwhile, silicon we found on there. You found some silicon details there. Chips, Samsung, 12 gig layered over. So this is chip on chip here. This is like on a Raspberry Pi. Other chips that the memory is stacked on the SOC for space reasons, and also then you don't have all the traces running on the PCB there for the memory connection. And Skyworks front-end module, power amplifier, Qualcomm, NXP. You see, even a company like Samsung does not have everything in-house, so they even have here Skyworks, Qualcomm, NXP here, previously Philips, I guess, NFC controller, so not even Samsung can do everything in-house. And then they turn to the OLED display. There are two bezels, amazing heat-free prying, and using plastic instead of glass on an OLED substrate means that the display is much likely to shatter, is much less likely. Yeah, so you can't shatter the glass, but you can damage the soft plastics in other ways. And certainly this is not as scratch resistant as Gorilla Glass. I also wonder if it would be favorable to have two classic phones that you turn, flip over, fold over, although you would have some gap in the middle. Not sure if that would be a more amazing stable construction. Here is each half of the display adhered to a thin metal support plate, which in turn is adhered to the phone's frame, leaves the center spin free. And yeah, this is how this looks like. And here's also the top layer of this new flexible display has been causing quite some ruckus. For some early previewers, Samsung calls this advanced polymer protective layer and says it's not to be removed. So yeah, if you buy this, don't remove this. No surprise there, you probably have seen it already. Magic hinge that will, well, I mean, in my opinion, this is of course an amazing construction. The display is certainly the most expensive 10-year long, and there you see also, I think it was in the press, Samsung already rumored this for some like 7 years or something of that sort to develop flexible OLED displays. There you see how much development and research goes in there. This is also why I usually find it slightly unfair, although I find Apple iPhone prices too high, but often news sites quote like the manufacturing cost for an iPhone is 250 or what sort, some sorts of that US dollar. And of course, you always need to factor in if all the research and development, if we would at Exacode here with you guys or some crowdfunding make an open source phone with Linux now, we also would need to factor in not only the raw materials, but also the 2 years of 5 or 10 people developing the software and hardware. Certainly, I've also some, not only computer science and design, I studied also media design here, or media computer design, some sorts of that here in Berlin, but also have technical draftsperson experience here before that with AutoCAD 20 years ago, before I did also university studying stuff here. And with having experience also with technical drafting, I have to say this is of course an amazing effort to cram all these small pieces, not only to manufacture everything too small, the flex ribbon cable, the PCBs there, or everything. So this PCBs probably are even laser trimmed, all the wires or the vias and such are probably laser trimmed. Welcome in the audience, by the way. So this is of course highest integration PCB and system on chip manufacturing here. And this even, imagine all the efforts it takes, all the teams to design all the components, camera modules, flex PCBs there, system on chip, and not even to speak about the silicon and the SOC, but all the other surrounding stuff, and then cramming it into this millimeters high of a construction, their folding phone, even with the folding stuff, and certainly probably quite some iterations internally to get this even as right as this one. I mean, not that it's that right, but this is also what you keep in mind with, well, Apple saying innovate my ass with some round trash can Mac, and other people deliver such products here. And this is why, coming to the conclusion here, it is really sad that Samsung had to enforce here iFixit to take this down or pressure their partners. This is, in my opinion, not the right thing to do. Yes, I agree, Samsung is of course extremely sad to see this failing. However, they could also have researched this more. They have done this maybe for 6 or 7 years or something of that sort. Maybe they should have done this 1 year longer and not have this PR debacle. Maybe, of course, I understand they wanted to beat Apple and Huawei to the market here, with this, and what have they, and this is of course the risk if you are the first on the market. Yes, you have the achievement unlocked of being the first to the market, but then this product might explode in your face like this with this fold gate, and maybe it would have been better to have Huawei the fold gate. But if you already want the achievement unlocked of the Guinness World Record book of having the first foldable phone, okay, but then take it with some pride and say, okay, we tried, we thought it is good enough, but okay, apparently it is not as good as we thought with getting dust and sand and whatever particles in the fold there, and then stand by it and say, okay, at least we have researched this, we are the original inventor, and okay, we redesign it a little bit for 6 months or whatsoever and then bring it to market, but not start pressuring or maybe potentially speaking about lawsuits maybe in terms of their partners. Maybe I could probably expect if they have taken this down here like this, and by the way, I hope we don't get sued here for live streaming this. Let's see how this Streisand effect is going. But yeah, well done, Samsung. One thumb up for this amazing achievement, one thumb down for pressuring your partners like this. In my opinion, stand by it with pride, taking it here like if you want to be the first to market and inventor of this, then also stand by it and don't go here with this shabby Apple like or Microsoft like lawsuit kind of allegedly maybe something. Final thoughts, repairability. Hey, it has a higher repairability, but there you see higher repairability than some Apple products or some Microsoft Surface, at least in my opinion, and also to fix its repairability score here. One single Phillips driver takes care of all the screws here. That is amazing, not like Apple nonsense that you need 3 and a special screwdriver. Many components are modular and can be replaced independently. Thumbs up. And then of course mechanical involvements of the fold are likely to vary over time, no surprise there, causing stress to hinges and display. Necessary eventual replacement. Necessitating eventual replacement. My God, these words, probably I should have practiced pronunciating them here before the amazing live stream. Lack of protection and fragility of the main display means you'll almost certainly be replacing the screen before long. A pricey repair, yeah, and then good luck sourcing this flexible OLED screen and getting that in there. Battery replacing are possible but unnecessarily difficult as so usual. And glued down glass both front and back means greater risk of breakage and making repair difficult to start. Yeah, there you have it, a quick look over Samsung's latest attempt of threatening their partners and having teardowns taken down. I don't like this. In my opinion, as we also take stuff apart here and look inside and speak about repairability, certainly not a great achievement there, and otherwise quite impressed. As I said, not really sure if I would buy this, if I would be millionaire or win the lottery or anything of that sort. Maybe I would get it if money would not be a question. Maybe, probably, certainly thinking about this, if I would be a millionaire, maybe I would get it just for the sake of it. But otherwise, yeah, just as much as we would have expected. And with Samsung threatening the internet about teardowns, we just couldn't resist and live stream it. I hope you enjoyed this quick live stream. I wish you an amazing day. I hope we don't get sued. And with that, don't forget to share, like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon for all the next live streams and videos to come.